I've seen this comparison done several times. I've seen it done at church. I've seen it done on YouTube. We all watch YouTube. I know I watch too much of it. But this comparison is a comparison of your life. It's a comparison of how this can represent how you choose to be happy. Believe it or not, people want happiness, but they continue to choose to stay in a rut, or they continue to choose to be unhappy, even though they desire happiness. They may feel like that there's no way, or they may feel like it's not possible. But I want to share with you that no matter what you're going through, there's always a possibility to become happy in so many ways. But in order to be happy, you have to stop harboring on the past, and you have to stop harboring on the things that is affecting you in a negative way. I get it. It's hard. I go through stress at times. I suffer from anxiety. There's times where I suffer from depression. But it's very short term, and it doesn't live long, because I believe in choosing happiness over everything. I want to experience joy in my life. And in order to experience joy in my life, I have to let go of the past, and I have to stop the hurting. I have to stop the bleeding, because if I continue to allow that bleeding to happen, I'm not going to be happy, and I'm not going to find a place in my life to ever be happy again if I continue to be stuck in the past from hurt or anger or bitterness or anything that's keeping you from your happiness. Bitterness will destroy your joy. Anger will destroy your joy. Unforgiveness will destroy your joy. You have to find a way to forgive. You have to find a way to stop allowing other people to affect your emotions. Your emotions not only affect you, they affect everybody around you, whether it's your kids or your parents or your coworkers or your siblings or your spouse. You have to find a way within yourself to allow that happiness to enter in. And it's a choice that you have to make. You have to lead your heart and not follow it. So many people believe that following your heart is the way of happiness, but following your heart can only lead you into a bad situation or a bad marriage or a bad job experience or a bad purchase. But if you lead your heart, what you find is that you're pursuing what you believe in, and you won't go against your morals, you won't go against your character, and you will stay steadfast in joy and in happiness. This vase represents your life. And throughout life, you go through marriages, you go through having children, you go through so many things in life to a point to where it overwhelms you in so many ways. And sometimes those marriages don't work out. Sometimes your kids go off and do their own thing that you don't agree with. Sometimes your job, turns out to be not the job that you thought it was going to be, and it just creates so much stress in your life to where you really don't know what you're going to do. These balls represent those obstacles in your life. They represent the hurt. They represent stress, depression, anxiety. They represent fear. They represent abuse. They represent a bad marriage. They represent anything that is just taking away your joy and your happiness. But primarily, these balls represent the negative things in your life. And they just fill your life up to the point to where you really don't know what to do. But you want to be happy. And this water, it represents your happiness. It's red because it represents love. It represents everything that is part of you that is joyful or heartfelt, and it's attractive, it's moving, it's affection, it's just pure happiness. And you want it, you want happiness. You want happiness so much that you only have this much room for it. Because you have your past and your hurt and your fears and everything that I talked about earlier in this short video that is keeping you from your happiness. You got to get rid of this. And the only way to get rid of this is by choice. Now, granted, you can pick one out at a time. But it doesn't do anything other than keeps you in that rut. It keeps you in, it keeps you stale, and it keeps you from receiving the full potential of what you want out of life. So you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice to remove your past, to remove your fear. You have to take your walls down so that way things in life can enter into your heart, enter into your life. But what happens when you don't want it to? I mean, what happens if you don't want to take your walls down? Or what happens if you don't want to trust again? Or what happens if you just can't let go of the hurt? You can't let go of the past? Well, your happiness is full. Or so it seems that it's full. But you still have everything in your life that's affected you in a negative way, keeping you from being fully happy. So then you have to choose. You have to choose to want it badly, to want it more. And what you realize is you have more room for happiness. You have more room for joy. You have more room for love. You have more room for other people to enter in your life, to make you happy, to keep you fulfilled. And you think you're over. You think you're done. And life is full. But you still have those things that's hurting you. You still have those obstacles that's keeping somebody from fully loving you, or keeping yourself from fully loving your job, or keeping yourself from finding those pure happiness thoughts in your head, or anything that's keeping you from it. But you got to keep going. You got to keep looking at it as if your cup needs to run over. And what's left is nothing that you can't get rid of. It's the easy stuff. And your cup is full. Your life is full. It's full of love. It's full of happiness. It's full of compassion. It's full of everything that you desire to make you happy. The point of this is to let you know that no matter what you're going through in life, that you have a choice. You have a choice to let your past and your hurt take over, or you have a choice to let your happiness take over. You can't have both. You can't have happiness while you're hurting. You can't have happiness while you're in fear. You can't have happiness while you are feeling that you just can't be happy. You have to make that choice. For me, I choose happiness, and I can't do it without God's help. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be able to have a happy life. I wouldn't be able to have joy in my heart, and I wouldn't be able to allow forgiveness to be a part of my life so bitterness won't take over. I refuse to allow bitterness to rob me of my joy. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I have a big mess to clean up, and feel free to reach out to me.